1170 AM. It's Sunday night in the Caribbean month. Hubert McIntosh is a member of the Society for Financial Awareness, and he's the man.
Financial literacy provided by Hubert McIntosh,
CPA.
Financial literacy. Control your financial status.
Here's your host, Hubert McIntosh, CPA.
Good evening, good Sunday evening to you again. Thank you for joining us on Sunday evening, 9 to 10. We are here every Sunday evening, and we follow the great CR and JP set it off talking about real estate. And like I keep reminding you guys, anything you're doing, please use professionals. We're here to serve this community. I serve you and my team serve you in other areas of finances, different things, taxes, estate planning, CR, our residential real estate expert, so seek them out. A lot of times, we can be tempted to do things alone, but why it's necessary to use professionals. Remember, as professionals, we have to do something called CPEs, and that's just regulation. But outside of that, as professionals, if we want to move ahead and make sure we can serve our clients and potential clients, then we are gonna study the laws. There are changes every single day. And you as a layperson, you're not doing that because you're involved with doing other things. So I recommend that you use professionals, and you cannot get better with using CR as your residential real estate expert. So we're here. I'm Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with one mission to help eradicate, yes, that's the word, eradicate financial illiteracy in America and the rest of the world, one community at a time. And I've joined with SOFA to bring it to this community. I shared with you 3 years ago, FINRA, the Financial Regulation Authority Board, did a study that 74% of Americans were financially illiterate. 74%. And you ask yourself, that was 3 years ago. Ask yourself, is that 74% the same, or is it lower or higher? Well, I will venture to tell you, I don't have the exact statistics, but I'll venture to tell you that it is higher. I would even want to estimate that 80% of Americans are financially illiterate. And even the topic we're talking about, we've been talking about it for the past 3 weeks, going on 4 weeks now, because it's so necessary and people keep asking. And if people keep asking about it, we're going to serve you. We're going to provide that information. We're talking about tax and the new tax law and how does it affect you. Remember, we are here with you every Sunday night, 9 to 10. That's 1 hour, but you have 24/7 access to us. Remember, we have a website, financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info, and go to the website. It can take you to our media page. We have Facebook. You can go from there to your Facebook page. Like our page, share us. Don't keep us a secret. Share us with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. Share us. We have a Twitter. Yeah, we have Twitter page. We have LinkedIn. Yes, we're also on LinkedIn. But most of all, we have a YouTube page. You can go onto YouTube and on the YouTube page, and you can subscribe. Why is it necessary to subscribe? When you subscribe, anytime that page is updated with anything, you're gonna get a notice, because every show since January 1, 2017. Yeah, this is our second year. This is now, can you imagine? This is the third month already of the second year, and we have been with you, and we thank you. We thank you for listening. You know, we have faithful listeners who have been with us from day one. You all know yourself. We thank you. We have listeners who have just come on board. We also thank you. Thank you very much, because when we hear from you, then we know that we are providing resources for you. And the last few weeks, especially with this new tax law, there's a lot of confusion about it, and people have been calling in, and we have been helping clear up some stuff, and we have also been getting notification via the website. We also have a email address, support@financialliteracy.info. support@financialliteracy.info. So if you have a question on your mind and you don't want to come on the radio, you can email us, and we will certainly respond to you. If we don't know the answer, we'll certainly get the answer to you. So thank you for joining us again. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA. We're in the studio, 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. As I said, you have 24/7 access to us. That number would be 754-366-7311. 754-366-7311. But for now, we are in the studio, 954-792-1170. So let's continue what we have been talking about the past few weeks. We have been talking about the new tax law. The new tax law and how does it affect you. Last week we ended on two topics. I shared a few secrets with you last week, and I'll just go over them. One of them was to give you some clarification on the filing deadline. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing, because a lot of times, you know, you'll hear and the media will tell you, oh, tax day, and you hear it so often. Tax day is April 15th. Tax day is April 15th. This year, it's April 17th. You're going to hear tax day is April 17th. But one of the little known secret I shared with you last week, that first tax deadline for individual, it applies to people who's gonna owe. Yeah, who's gonna owe. If you are not owing and you're gonna get a refund, that deadline doesn't mean anything to you. It means nothing whatsoever. Nothing. I am not telling you, I'm not encouraging you to procrastinate and not file your taxes. But what I'm telling you, you don't have to stand in the line on April 17 when that line goes around the corner and you're standing in there at the post office getting frustrated, standing there for 2 hours. It's unnecessary. You don't have to. If you're not gonna owe. So make sure, because if you owe and don't, then that's a different story. But you also have another option. You can file an extension. It's an automatic 6-month extension. There don't have to be any special circumstances for you to be granted. Once you apply for the extension, all you have to do is apply for it. You get an automatic 6-month extension. But keep this in mind. An extension is an extension to file. And you're like, but Hubert, that's obvious. No, it's not. Many people think it's an extension to pay. It's not an extension to pay. It's an extension to file. If you owe that money and you did not pay it on tax day, then you can incur or will incur penalties and interest. Yes, you'll incur penalties and interest. And sometimes the penalties can be a bit harsh. Sometimes the penalties can go as far as up until 20% of the tax due. Wow, that could hurt. in the sense that if you owe $10,000, the penalty can be up to 20%. That's another $2,000, so not filing. So you can have not filing penalty, not paying penalty. So be careful. It's best not to try and get into that penalty situation. So consult your tax professional. We can help you with that. But there are many great tax professionals out there that can help you. But always seek professional guidance. All right, so last week we're going to pick up from where we left off. We clear up the filing deadline. I trust that every one of you now understand the filing requirements. Remember, corporations, March 15th. March 15th for LLCs, taxed as partnership, and for S Corp, March 15th. April 15th, C Corporation. Yes, that is something that changed last year. April 15th for C Corporation and individual. Okay? All right. So those are the initial deadlines. And each of them, when you file an extension, you'll get an automatic 6-month extension. Except this could be a little trick. Be careful, because I'm telling you, 6-month extension. A C Corp only gets 5 months. Don't ask me why. A C Corp only gets 5 months. So if it's due April 15th and you file an extension, it's a 5-month extension. But for others, pass through entities. Remember, this year it's April 17th. The normal is April 15th. But this year is a special year, is an exceptional year in the sense that April 15th fall on a Sunday this year. April 15th falls on a Sunday. So the law says that anytime the deadline falls on a weekend or on a holiday, the deadline is extended to the next business day. So April 15th falls on a Sunday. So normally you'd be thinking, well, the next business day is April 16th. Not this year. April 16th this year is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. Emancipation Day. So because it's Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C., it makes it a national holiday. So remember, the IRS, the main office is in D.C., so the government head office, a lot of them are in D.C. And if it's a holiday in D.C., then it automatically becomes a holiday nationwide. So the tax deadline this year is April 17th. Okay, make a note of that. And remember that little secret that I share with you. And I know some of you are still reeling from last week when I share that with you. Whereas when I mentioned to you that the IRS has to audit, and I know a lot of people, I have people out there will. And here's the thing. Here's this catch-22. What's going on with filing? Because someone can say, well, I want to file as soon as possible. And there's nothing wrong with that but some of the reasons that we're using. So one reason that people will say, well, I want to file as soon as possible because if I file early, then I run less risk of identity theft in the sense that someone may file my return, and then I have problem when I go to file. Yeah, that's a legit thought, but I don't think your decision should just be based on that. One of the things I would even encourage each and every one of you. The society that we are living in now has become so litigious. I believe that every person in America should have some kind of a legal plan. Every person, I believe it. Just like, it's necessary to have a medical plan just in case of medical emergencies or anything like that. People have a HMO where you have a medical plan. There are also legal plans where someone can have a legal plan just in case of any legal infraction. Because here's the thing with legal infraction, you don't have to do something bad to have a legal infraction. Because here it is, you're not realizing that someone files your tax return, file a tax return with your information, and you're thinking, whoa, I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, but listen, it's still your problem. Because here's why. And you're like, but that's not a legal problem. Yes, it is. And let me explain it to you. Because if you file, say for instance, as a tax professional, and I go and I file your return for you, you hire me, I file your return, and then it comes back with a message that this return has already been filed. Yeah. So when I get that message that this return has already been filed, think about it, been filed, and then I check with you and you said to me, you haven't filed. But the IRS is saying your Social Security has been filed. But you're saying you haven't been filed. So you ask, okay, is that an IRS problem? No, it's bigger. It's not just an IRS problem. It's an IRS problem and it's a legal problem. Because here's the process. So then now you hire me, or you choose to call yourself. And then you call the IRS. Sometimes you may wait 45 minutes. Sometimes you may be waiting 2 hours, so. But say you get them now. And then they're going to verify and they ask you some information. They're going to verify that it's you and you give them your Social Security. And they're going to tell you, well, this return has already been filed. Then you're going to say it hasn't been filed. But they're telling you that it has been filed. So here's this argument going on the phone. The IRS is telling you that it has been filed. You're saying that you haven't filed. The IRS is telling you that it has been filed. But here is the scary and the weird part. Do you know that if you tell the IRS that you haven't filed, and the IRS is telling you that it has been filed, do you know the IRS cannot tell you who filed it? Isn't that weird? The IRS cannot give you any information. This is the weirdest thing. So here it is. Your tax return, in other words, your identity has been compromised. The IRS has confirmed. They have confirmed with you that your identity has been compromised. But the IRS cannot give you any more information. And you're like, but how do I resolve this? You know what the IRS is going to tell you? The IRS is going to tell you, file a police report because your identity has been stolen. So the IRS is going to tell you that you should file a police report. So, okay. So you file a police report and then what? They're going to tell you, well, if you file a police report, then that report that has been filed, you should take that report, contact the FTC. I'm laughing, but it's not a funny matter. To contact the FTC so that there can be a stoppage. There can be a stoppage on your other credit information because your credit has been your identity has been compromised. So here it is now. So you call the FTC, you report this. Okay, they block it. They put this in the database. The IRS has it in their database that your identity was compromised. So what next? What next? You need an attorney. You need an attorney because you cannot resolve this without an attorney. The IRS cannot help you. You know what the IRS can do? If it's a check that the IRS was issued, the IRS can issue a stop payment. But let me tell you something. Do you think that the people who are committing identity theft fraud is gonna get a check? Come on. By the time you know that your identity has been compromised, that money has been cashed. And it's not like it's cash at Chase Bank where they can track and say, well, this account number at Chase Bank and they're going to get John Thompson because John Thompson cashed the check. No, these people are more sophisticated than that. They're more sophisticated. It's one of the number one problem that the IRS has. And I've been at IRS liaison meeting with tax professionals, and I'm telling you, the IRS is telling us as tax professionals that this problem is bigger than them. The problem is over their head. So here's the IRS, who's supposed to be the watchdog for you. And the watchdog is telling you that the problem is bigger than them. So guess what? You have to get your watchdog. You have to get your watchdog. So you need a legal plan for that. You know, you have companies out advertising on TV and radio and telling you use their company and so forth. But I'd encourage you to do research, because not because someone advertised, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the top company, because that's how marketing works. Marketing is the sense that you hear something enough, you tend to want to believe that's how it is. But that's just good marketing. Just because someone is a good marketer, it doesn't mean that it's a good business practice. So you wonder, why am I spending so much time on this? Because these are what we're dealing with. This is a sign of the times. Your identity is one of the most, not one of, it's probably the most important thing you have to deal with. Because if your identity has been compromised, the amount of things that you could lose. People are losing their house. Their house. Yes, their house. Because their house was sold and they didn't even know that their house was sold because the identity was stolen. So it's a very, very critical topic that seek more guidance on it. Okay, we're not going to belabor it, but I just want to bring it to your attention. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA, bringing to you financial literacy on Waves WAVS 1170. We come on to you every Sunday night, 9 to 10, and we're here. We're in the studio, 954-792-1170, 954-792-1170. If something is on your mind, give us a call, because I can promise you one thing. If it's on your mind, it's on others' minds also, because some people may not want to call, but if you call and you raise that question or that comment, you're going to be helping others. And remember, there are no stupid questions. The only stupid question is the one that has not been asked. Okay? Remember that. So let's move on from that. So you understand the filing deadline and the risk of identity theft in America. It's one of the biggest crime that's happening right now. Child tax credit. We started talking about this last week. Child tax credit, where mom and dad has two children. Each you can get a child tax credit for each child that's 17 years, under 17-year-old. Under 17-year-old. If the child reaches 17, you're not going to get it. It's under 17-year-old, you'll get a child tax credit. The child tax credit for 2017 is $1,000 per child, but that is increased with the new tax law, where it's now $2,000 per child. So mom and dad with two children will get $2,000 times 2, right? $2,000 times 2. So they'll get a $4,000 tax credit. But almost everything in the tax law, almost everything, there is a but. There's a but, there's exception, and there's also it depends. So for 2018, for right now, the phase out is once your income is over $110,000, once your income is over $110,000, married filing jointly, what will happen? That child tax credit start phasing out somewhat. It start phasing out. And, the tax table will show that where it start phasing out by $50, where a person who would have gotten $1,000, then they're getting $950, $900. So there's a table there. For 2018, as it goes up, as I mentioned to you, it goes up to where it's going to be $2,000 per child. So the phase out, the maximum refundable amount of the credit is $1,400. The refundable amount of the credit is $1,400. The act also created a new non-refundable $500 credit for qualifying dependents who are not qualifying children. In other words, in 2018, what you're going to be able, if the person is not in a qualifying child, it's a new part where a dependent who's not a qualifying child, you'll get $500. So there are things with it where it's not just 1, 2, 3, and then there's a phase out. There's a phase out amount. The threshold at which the credit begins to phase out, this was increased. This was increased in 2018 to $400,000 for married taxpayer filing jointly, and $200,000 for other taxpayers. So even though sometimes you may hear that, well, this is the credit, and your tax return may be filed and you're noticing that you did not get that credit, there may be extenuating circumstance. It could be because of the income phase out that you're not getting that credit. So be aware of that. And also remember, the child tax credit is one of those credits that's called a refundable credit. Refundable credit. And I'm going to take the opportunity to speak to you on that, because sometimes that is also confusing in the sense that you have credits that are refundable tax credits, and you have credits that are non-refundable tax credits. And I'll just give the simple answer to that to differentiate it. A refundable tax credit is if the credit is $1,400, you're going to get that $1,400. Yes, you're going to get it in addition to what you'd have been getting before. But if it's a non-refundable tax credit, let's use the same $1,400. If the credit you're eligible for is $1,400 in a non-refundable tax credit, it simply means that $1,400 will offset any tax liability. Let me explain that. So if you would have owed $2,000, right, and you have a non-refundable tax credit of $1,400, that $1,400 would be subtracted from the $2,000. So you basically would now owe only $600 because the $1,400 offset the $2,000. But the other side of the coin now, say your tax liability is $1,000. You owe $1,000, but you have this $1,400 non-refundable credit. Because the $1,400 is greater than the $1,000, the $1,000 will be offset, so you have no tax liability, but you're not going to get that additional $400. So I just want you to be aware of that. Wow. I keep reminding you every Sunday night, the fastest hour, I challenge you, fastest hour of the week is Sunday 9 to 10. With that being said, stick and stay with us. I'll catch you back on the other side. I have to go pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Bob searched and searched for insurance, but grew frustrated with the high number of options.
Oh no, what am I gonna do?
Then Bob contacted the McIntosh Insurance Agency.
Bingo!
The McIntosh Insurance Agency helped Bob get affordable insurance that fit his unique needs.
Oh, Oh, I'm happy I found this guy.
Be like Bob. Go to McIntoshinsuranceAgency.com or give them a call at 561-300-2444.
You won't be sorry.
Remap Accounting Firm offers a wide variety of affordable accounting and tax services. We can help you develop your budget and manage your cash flow. We help families and businesses save money on taxes. Listen to our satisfied customers.
It's good to know that the success of our business is important to Remap. We're confident that Remap sees us as more than just a client.
Contact us at remap.com or call 561-623-0241. Get up with Lifeline Tax Incorporated for tax preparation and tax planning services. Lifeline prepares all forms of tax returns.
1040 personal, corporate S&C, partnership, trust returns,
And all other federal forms. Go to lifelinetax.com or call 561-244-0062.
Contact us to help you with your lifeline to a better tax future.
Go to lifelinetax.com or call 561-244-0062.
Looking to make your business or service more financially literate? Contact us and we can make it happen. Advertise on our weekly program to be showcased to potential clients all over Jamaica and South Florida. Call us at 754-366-7311 and we can help you and your business or service grow. 754-366-7311. 754-366-7311.
Would you like your business to maximize its return on investments? Then contact Wealth Management and Distribution Group. Wealth Management and Distribution Group will help you minimize your tax liabilities. It doesn't matter if you're an individual, an entrepreneur, or a small business. Protect your assets for you and your loved ones. Maximize your return on investment with Wealth Management and Distribution Group. Get more information at WMADG.com or call 954-701-4730.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking and staying. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness. One mission to help eradicate financial illiteracy in America and around the world, one community at a time. I've joined with SOFA to bring it to this community. Our hope is that this community will not fall into that statistic of financial illiteracy. So I thank you for joining. We're on the second part. You still have time to share with your friends, Facebook them. Come on, you put all kind of things in Facebook, some of it very non-educational. This one you can share because we promise you we're going to share some things with you that's going to be beneficial. So share, like our page, share, invite your friends, okay? This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA. We're in the studio, 954-792-1170, 954-792-1170. Give us a call with any comments, any question as we talk about tax and the new tax law and how it applies to you, okay? All right, we are moving along. This next topic, I want you to get your pen. If you didn't get your pen and get your paper yet, because the next topic I am moving to, oh my gosh, this is gonna blow a lot of your mind. So get your pen, get your paper. I am about to drop some shocking things to you that you're not gonna believe that this is happening in America. Okay. I understand we have a caller, so We are gonna go to that caller. Caller, you're on the line.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good night. How are you?
I'm good. I heard you say something earlier. It don't really happen to me, but it could have happened to me. No, that's not. It could have happened to me anyway. Like somebody stole your credit.
Yes.
They stole, and I thought, I heard that you say like you can lose your house. Somebody stole the credit and you didn't know.
Yes.
And so what do you do? How do you recognize that happened to you? Can you get back your house or what happened? How that work out?
Oh my gosh.
Things do happen otherwise. Not only the house alone, but things like that can happen to any other business.
That is such a great question. The only way to solve those things is through the legal system.
Okay.
And for you to solve it through the legal system, you're gonna need an attorney. You're gonna need an attorney. You cannot solve it without an attorney. You cannot.
Okay.
You just cannot. Where someone's gonna tell you, you can do it yourself. It's impossible to do it without an attorney, because then what will happen? The attorney will have to subpoena some things. They're gonna investigate certain things because they have to follow the trail now to see what happened. And a lot of those things, like for instance, an attorney can call a title company or something like that, and they will get a response. But you and I call a title company.
It's a no-no.
It's a no-no because you have HIPAA laws and all of that. Because even though someone steal your stuff, the thief that steal your stuff, the government still give that thief rights where you cannot get the thief information.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So what we're dealing with, not because the person is a thief, that means you're just going to get all the information. You cannot. So you need an attorney. And it's one of two ways people can do this. Are we going to roll the dice and says, okay, if and when that happens, I will get an attorney. But here's what I know for a fact. When you get an attorney, in the case of an emergency, the fees are higher. So you're going to pay $300-$400 an hour. If this thing takes 10 hours, 20 hours, you do the math. But if you have a legal plan, most good legal plan will cover attorney fees for certain things in the initial part of it. So that's basically the only way you can do it. If you have specific question, you can give us a call and we can guide you through that and recommend different legal plans.
No, I don't really have, they stole my pocketbook sometime last year, but, just listen to what you say about somebody can lose their house. I'm just saying, that's crazy, how. So I said, let me ask you, because maybe it may happen to somebody out there who's really listening tonight and are going through other, other phase of life with scammers or what they want to call them, So I was just a concern.
Right.
How somebody deal with that situation.
Yes, it's a valid concern. So I'd also encourage you, even though nothing has happened to you and the fact that the potential could have happened, it's also good to get an identity theft plan where you have a plan. Whereas if your identity is stolen, then you have hours. A lot of these legal and identity theft plans, they're similar to like a HMO for doctor and for someone over 65 like Medicare, whereas, you have it just in case you need it. So I would encourage you on that. So I thank you very much for your...
Thank you very much too, and I'll keep listening.
All right, thanks for being a valued listener. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I want to thank that caller because, it's one of those things we're dealing with identity theft. Sometimes we just don't realize how serious it is. You have people right now who are in jail. They're in jail because their identity was stolen. People going along with their life, didn't do anything. Their identity was stolen. They're in jail. Because remember, if your identity is stolen and the police come and so forth, it's not the police job to litigate your circumstance. The police is gonna just act on the circumstance. They are not gonna try to rationalize and to sort it out. They're gonna tell you, take it up with the judge. And next thing you know, you're wheeled in, you're handcuffed, and you're being put in a car, and they're telling you, watch your head, and putting you in this car. And next thing you're gone and you're being arraigned in court. These kind of stuff happens. Many innocent people get caught up in that. So I don't want you sitting there and, thinking, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't need that. You don't have to be doing anything wrong. Many people are fighting legal battles, not because of anything they did wrong, but because of what was wronged. They were wronged, and yet still they have to defend themselves. Okay? So I hope that you give that some cause. So we are in the studio, 954-792-1170. The new tax law. Well, I don't know what you think of it. The new tax law has pluses and it has minus. Remember, this is an educational program. So a lot of times, most of the stuff I'm going to share with you is from the factual standpoint. You very rarely going to hear me give you my opinion. I'm just giving you the facts. My opinion will be where you contact me and you ask me my opinion, then that's a different story. But as I give you information, education has to be based on facts. Because if it's based on my opinion, then it's not educational. It's like a show where people giving you their ideas, and this is not what we're doing here. We're providing you education, so we are giving you the facts. So whatever you think of the law, whether good, bad, or what, there are good things in it, there are bad things in it. So it's not something that you can generalize and say, oh my gosh, this is a great law. Yes, it might be great for one person and not for the next. All right. This next one gonna shock a lot of you. We're gonna talk about educational credits, educational provision, right? Educational provision. Here's a fact. America, with all its great resources, in the level of education literacy in the world, the United States of America is ranked 37. Go Google that. Check me out. The United States of America is ranked 37. And I know that's shocking to a lot of you. How can the great United States rank 37 in the level of education financial literacy? I'm even going to share with you the country that ranked first. Start guessing it in your mind. Because when I tell you, I want you to put down who you think is ranked number one. And most of you, I'm prepping you, most of you are going to be wrong. You're not going to get it. I'm telling you this right now. Have you made your guess? Have you put it down? It's not a country. It's an island. It's an island. Yes. An island is ranked as the highest literate nation in the world. Yes. And it's an island that most of us are familiar with, who's from the Caribbean. The little island is Barbados. Barbados is the highest ranked literate nation in the entire world. You check me out. Little Barbados. How that happens, we don't know. But let's talk about now education in America. All right. As parents with children, one of the things we always want to do, we want to plan We want to plan for our children education because children are entrusted to us. We're basically our responsibility is to guide them. You know the song that says guide them, lead them. They are our future. I can't sing. If I could have sing, I would bust that song out. But most of you know it, The children are our future. Lead them well. Lead them well. And they will guide us. Okay? So here's what happened. So we have to make provision for these children. And the way how it's competitive now, if a child is growing up, then you can have a decision, whereas what's the goal for this child? Are you going to let this child go through high school, or are you going to prepare for them to get a college degree? And sometimes that becomes a matter of choice. And sometimes it's not even a choice, because based on what they want to do, what their goals, what their dreams, some career cannot be accomplished without going to college. Others may be able to, but some careers cannot. Like for instance, you talk about doctors, lawyers, stuff like that. If the person has that aspiration, the only path to go for doctors, lawyers, CPAs, you have to have a college degree. You can't just say, well, I am smart, I'm going to study book and I'm get that. You cannot, for none of those three that I name. And there are others also, but doctors, lawyers, CPAs, so I said CPAs. I didn't say accountants. You notice that? I specifically said CPA. Because you can be an accountant. Many people can be an accountant. You can be an accountant because you're brilliant and you study this and you study that. But you cannot be a CPA without going through the college path. You cannot. It's just impossible. You cannot. Okay. So let's talk about that. So since we have established that then, so we're going to talk about college now. And you're going to be prepping for college. So how do you save? How do you save for your child or your children to go to college? How do you save? There are some confusions out there. Most states has a prepaid program, like here in Florida. Florida has a prepaid program where you can prepay for a 4-year college, and you can prepay the tuition, you can prepay the room and board and different things, but you can prepay. So basically this child can born today or tomorrow, and then you can start a prepay plan. You can start it at 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever, the rates. But the idea is you have a prepaid plan. All right. The next popular plan are probably even more popular than the prepaid plan is something called a Section 529 plans. The Section 529 plan has been touted, notice the word I use, has been touted as one of the best plans. Yes, it has been touted. All right, let me share with you one of the changes for the Section 529 plan. And I'm going to read it. I'm not even going to memorize. I'm going to read it for you. The Act modifies Section 529 plans to allow them, listen now, don't miss it, to allow them to distribute no more than $10,000 in expenses for tuition incurred during the tax year at an elementary or secondary school. Let me repeat that. Distribute no more than $10,000 expense for tuition incurred during the tax year. Folks, you heard what that just says? $10,000 in tuition. Do you realize the limit that it has just put on your son and daughter? $10,000 in. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying a child cannot go to a college and pay $10,000 in tuition. But The field is limited. The field has been shrunk. If the tuition is gonna be less than $10,000, you have a very small field that you're dealing with. You have a very small field. So what does that mean when I say a small field? So if the field is small and your child is gonna apply, do you know how many? You know, what was shared with me the other day, you know, I'll keep the name and so that to keep the innocent. That is a university ranked 79th ranked in the country for medical school. 79, ranked 79. Okay? So you're going to say, well, there are 78 universities better. Okay? All right, let's talk about it. The application in the 79th ranked school, the application for med school is 11,000 students. 11,000. You know how many spots are there? 110. 11,000 application for 110 spots. So do you see what I mean when I say the field is shrunk? The field is shrunk. Because if you only have $10,000, that means there are more people applying there. So here's this plan that was being touted. This just changed for the next 8 years. This is one of the provision in the new tax law. Let me read it again for those of you who may have joined late, because this is so important. The Act modifies Section 529 plans to allow them to distribute no more than $10,000 in expense for tuition incurred during the tax year at an elementary or secondary school. The limitation applies on a per student basis. Okay. All right. Wow. The Act modified the exclusion of student loan discharges from gross income by including within the exclusion certain all discharging an account of debt or disability. What this is saying, there are student loan interest. The repeal, this clarifies it more. The House bill proposed repeal of the exclusion for interest. Interest. You have certain interest, student loan interest and deduction you're not gonna be eligible to take as a deduction. What does all of this mean? Let me just sum all of this. This thing has got now even planning for college. I remember when I came to this country, oh my gosh, I'm going to date myself. When I came to this country, 1981, student loan was one of the easiest things you could have gotten. You just apply. You just go and you just apply. 1981, student loan was easy. That story has changed. Student loan is one of the hardest things now. They tell you because a lot of students are lured into, oh yes, you will get student assistant. You get student assistant. I remember I came here, yes, you apply, I get Pell Grant, you get all kind of grants and so forth. Those are so limited now. You can get student loan, but be careful. You need a professional to guide you through that. Don't try to do it alone. I know many of you, mom and dad, you're taking this FAFSA form and you're trying to fill it out and you don't even know what to put on it. You're thinking, oh, I can just read this form. I can just read this form and fill it out. No. There are a lot of tricks. There are a lot of tricks in it. So please make sure that you get professional guidance. All right, one of the new thing I'm hesitant in sharing this one with you because some of you are gonna take it negatively. One other thing that has been repealed in this new tax law for 2018 is the individual mandate. In 2017, if you don't have insurance in this country, you're going to be penalized if you don't have insurance. That individual mandate goes away for the next 8 years. So it's saying that if you don't have insurance, you're not going to be penalized. But before you start getting excited, I want you to think about something. Yes, you have the individual mandate where you're saying that is going away and it's, that's a good thing. Yes, it could be good, it could be bad. But you also remember I tell you that we don't know what tomorrow holds. Remember, this is an educational program. We're talking to you about planning, where you're dealing with two types of lifestyle. You're dealing with your current lifestyle and your future lifestyle. And if we're developing a personal economic model, you want all your doors shut. It doesn't make sense you have a house or a home and you have 3 or 4 doors, right? And if you have 4 doors, then you have 3 doors shut, but you have 1 left open. Because what happened as you develop your financial future and your personal economic model in terms of finance, health costs can be a detriment to your wealth. Health cost. So if you don't have something, it's the same thing where I'm telling you, you need a legal plan. You need HMO. You need plans where that for emergencies you can be covered. So I just want you to think about that before you get excited and says, well, because there's no individual mandate, then I don't have to have insurance. So I just want to thank you. It has been very educational. I hope you have received something from it. And there's some more stuff regarding the new tax law that I need to share with you, which we're going to continue next week by sharing that with you. But we want to thank you for joining us. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with one mission: to help eradicate financial illiteracy in America and the rest of the world, one community at a time. Join us on the web, financialliteracy.info, and go to our Facebook page. Thanks again. This is Hubert McIntosh. We will see you next week.
Literacy with Hubert McIntosh on Waves 1170 has come to an end. Don't be mad.
He'll be back next week
On www.waves1170.com.